Hi, it's Mr. Baumgarten here with our next Python video learning Pygame, and let's get straight into it. Last video we wrote text on the screen and I gave you a little bit of a hint of what was to come by adding the mouse motion elif to our event handler. So let's talk about events today. We know that a for loop is used to run over every element in a list. And so Pygame has this thing called event.get, which automatically generates a list of all the things that have happened since the last time we ran the function. And it will tell us every time the player or the user of our program presses a key, lets go of a key, moves the mouse, hits a mouse button, etc. So what are some of the things we can do with this? And what are the most common things you're going to want to be checking for? So there are 5 main types of events. There's the event type known as quit, which is if you hit the little close X on a program, that is the event type of quit. So we set a boolean to say quit is now equal to true. All right, and the purpose of that is that then that will finish our main game loop and we stop running over this while and we come down here and close our program. And so we also set up the escape key. Right, we've said if the event that happened was that a key has been pressed down, and if that key happened to be the escape button, then also set quit to be true. And then we are also checking if the type of event that happened was the mouse moved, right, then update X and Y with the position of our mouse based upon the movement. So the 2 other types of events that we can also check against. If we can check for key down, and you can probably guess, we can also check if the key is up. Alright, so for example, let's put in here the space bar. Alright, so if within the key events, or the keyboard events, there will always be this dot key thing, and that is used to tell you what the key was that the event is associated with. So what key it was that was pressed or let go. And if I type K underscore, you'll see that PyCharm will give me a list of all the different keys that I can check against. And so all of our number keys are here, all of our special keys, the function keys, and all the letter keys are also in here, mixed amongst them all. All right. So if I'm looking for enter, let's go to E, check if it's in here, and it's not. Maybe it is under return. There it is, K a return. Yes. Hang on, that's not what I said I was going to do anyway. I said I was going to do space, didn't I? Here's the space bar. Alright, so if the event was the space, then how about we have a boolean that tells us if the space bar is being pressed. So space is equal to false. So if we've pressed the event, then let's set space to true. And when we let go, so if event.key equals k space, then space is equal to false. Alright, so if the key has been pressed down and that key was the space bar, then set space to true. If a key has been let go, so the key has gone up, and that key that went up was the space bar, let's set space to false. Excellent. So I've got something that turns on and off depending upon whether the space bar is being pressed. So let's just let a message to the screen saying, is the space bar pressed? All right, so if space, let's just call this message, use our Arial 60, render space bar. Alright, but we'll make it green if it's pressed and red when we let go. How about that? Else message is equal to Arial 60 render spacebar, so it can be the same message but a different color. and then I'm going to window blit the message to 300 150, and that should work. Alright, what was our problem? Function takes at least 3 arguments, 2 given, spacebar red. What did I miss? I didn't put in my anti-aliasing. So let's just put in 1. That's an easy fix. Alright, so spacebar says red, and if I hit the spacebar, woohoo, it turns green, and then when I let go, it goes red again. Well, that's a very exciting game. Alright, let's do something a little more exciting than that. Let's use the arrow keys. They're pretty popular whenever we are programming a game. So, if event.key, let's have some x and y coordinates. So I've already got x and y. Let's rename these ones, shall we? Alright, quick little tip for PyCharms. If I want to rename a variable, okay, because I've got this x here and I've got x up here, but I've decided I want to use x and y as like the position of my game character instead of just telling me where the mouse is. So everywhere I've got x at the moment, I need to rename it, but I want to make sure I don't miss any of the spots. I can select it, right click, come down to refactor, rename, and so instead of x, let's just call this mouse x, refactor, and everywhere that I had x, it's been renamed to mouse x. So you'll just notice down here, this x was replaced with mouse x, and this x was replaced with mouse x. And those were the only 3 spots that I used it. Alright, handy little tip for PyCharm users. So let's go back to refactor, rename, and we'll call this mousey. Alright, and so those locations have been changed. So now here, alright, I want an x and a y, this time for my player. So if my game is 800 wide, 600 down, let's start the player in the middle, shall we? 400, 300. Right, if the event was the up key, then I want to go up, which means my y value has to decrease, because you remember that 0 is the very top of my program. So y, let's subtract 20 off of it. Alright, so take whatever value is in y, subtract 20 from it, store it back into y. If the event key is down, then we will increase y. If the event key was left, then we want to increase or decrease the x value. We want to increase the x value, and if the event key was right, it helps if I can type correctly, then we will decrease the x value. Alright, now I need something that uses this x and y value. So how about we grab a circle, let's make it that lovely pink color that we found earlier. Alright, and this time replace its x and y instead of 110. Use our player. And let's just fill it in, make it whole. So now, as I tap my, I've got my left and right back to front, but anyway, as I tap my arrow keys, I've got a circle that moves around. Alright, every time I tap. Now if I hold the key, it doesn't continually move, right? Because I've got it just for the key down event, which only happens once per key press. So if I hold the key down, it doesn't run more often. It will only run once per press. Now let's just fix these up. Swap those back the other way. I hope you spotted that error. All right, so how would we go about changing it? So that I could hold the key down, all right, and it continued to move. So I want to do some combination of using the key downs and the key ups to be able to do that. And so I might have a couple of other variables that are telling me how much to move my X and Y every time. All right, and so when my key is up, I just want to say set move Y to -20. When my key is down, set move Y to +20. When my key is left, set move X to -20, and when key is right, set move X to +20. All right, and then in key up, I can say if event.key is key down or event key was key up. So if I let go of either of these, then stop moving in the Y direction. Same as on the other one. If talking and typing at the same time is not conducive for one, does it make? Set move X to 0 if I let go of either the right or the left button, right? And then down here, perform calculations. Oh, look, I've got a whole section left for this. X is equal to whatever the X was plus what's in my move X, and Y is equal to whatever Y was plus whatever's in move Y. And that should allow me to move for as long as I hold down the key. So if I hold down, yes, and I'll have to be quick about letting go, otherwise I'm going to fly off the edge of the screen, because I don't have anything stopping me from flying off the edge of the screen at the moment. How could I do that? Can you think about an answer for that one? While you ponder that, I am going to stop this video. This has been Mr. B, signing off.